been a while, so welcome back and thanks for tuning in to the Hero Out podcast. I'm Kyle, your host, and today's episode is an important one. On this episode, we're talking about PTSD within the veteran and first responder community. The stuff that you don't always see, the battles that happen after the uniform comes off, and what it really takes to keep moving forward when life gets heavy. In this conversation, I'm joined by Donna Michaels, who is a veteran, retired first responder, author, and CEO of Heroes United to Heal Foundation. We also have special guest, former Navy SEAL Master Chief Ross Munro. We get into the realities of trauma, what healing actually looks like, and how people can find purpose again, even in their hardest seasons of their lives. So without further ado, let's get started.
You're listening to the Heroed Out podcast. To find out how to hear the latest episode or to connect with us, please visit heroedout.com. Consumer discretion is advised.
All right, we're back on the Heroed Out podcast. It has been a while since we've done an episode, but I've been saving this one because it is special. Today, we have CEO and founder of Heroes United to Heal Foundation, which is a 501c3 company and organization, a nonprofit actually, that helps first responders and PTSD, or first responder and veterans with PTSD. And here to talk about it is Donna Michaels, the CEO, and special guest Ross Munro. If you guys can open up and introduce yourselves, we'll get started.
Go ahead, Donna. Ladies first.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, I'm Donna Michaels. I spent 4 years in the Navy active, did some reserve time after that, and then after that I went into law enforcement and did 21 years in Orlando, Florida. In 2017, I responded to one too many really awful calls, took me to a very dark place, and our special guest here was one of a few brothers that reached out and recognized I was struggling and kind of guided me through those dark days. And thanks to them, I'm still here. I got the help I needed, journaled through therapy, journal became a book, and the feedback I got from the book, Courageously Broken, led to a lot of people that were wanting help but afraid to ask for it because they were in fear of losing their careers. So my best friend and I, my co-founder Aaron Harris, started Heroes United to Heal about 4 years ago. And we have been slowly growing until we got to where we are now, which is hosting extraordinary suicide prevention retreats in Paradise Valley, Montana. And we can talk about more about that in a minute, but that's pretty much who I am and where I come from.
Awesome. And Ross, if you could just introduce yourself, I know that this is a very passionate subject for you as well.
Yes, my name is Ross Munro. I'm a retired SEAL Master Chief at the Command Master Chief level. Retired in 2014. Went into local politics, was a county commissioner for 8 years, and have done and kept the entire time contracting, either for most of the time DOD or DOW now.
Nice.
So,
awesome.
But, had my own struggles with operator syndrome, PTSD. Reached out to many different organizations, went on some veteran retreats, and found that sweet spot of where you don't have to think about it anymore. Well, you don't stop thinking about it, but you think about it in a different way, and it doesn't affect you the same anymore because it never goes away. It's not like you're erasing memories or anything. And I've had, known way too many people in my life that have committed suicide, and it's terrible because you go to their funerals and here's a church filled with people that would reach out and help if they just called. If they just let somebody know. And but yeah, it's a terrible waste, and we want to do all we can to put an end to it.
Well, I appreciate both of you for being here, and thank you both for your service. Obviously, everybody, a lot of
Thanks
people.
for having us.
Oh, for sure. A lot of people have had
Yes,
dark
thank you.
days, for sure. And that's kind of how this organization got started, like you said, Donna. So just kind of walk me through. And this is basically an episode of this organization and what it offers and some of the events that are coming up. So if you would just kind of dig in a little bit to the organization and what it is you guys actually do to help provide some of these services to these vets and first responders.
Sure, absolutely. Well, like Ross said, I also went to a couple of different retreats and partook in some nonprofit resources. Um, one thing I learned for sure, and everybody I talk to seems to agree that it is not a one size fits all. You've got to find what works for you. Like something Ross has tried may not work for me, and vice versa. So when we first started, we just knew we wanted to erase the stigma of PTSD. We wanted to make it to where people weren't afraid to get help and afraid to ask and would know where to go. So it started with a simple website of resources. But as time went on, some of these resources, which were nonprofits, would go upside down or go by the wayside, and then we'd get calls, oh, they haven't called me back, and it got kind of frustrating because you're like wanting to help people, but you can't control other organizations, right?
Hmm.
So we ended up kind of like as the first year we rescued 5 German shepherds that had been abandoned because their owner passed away. Were in pretty bad shape, and we got a call, and we rehabilitated them. Everybody from vets to the community, and rehabilitated these 5 dogs. And a trainer stepped up and trained them to be PTSD service dogs, and they were rehomed to veterans first responders as PTSD service dogs. So that was our first year, and one of Ross's brothers, who I also served with, was gracious enough when I was in my crisis to give me my service dog, Saint, who I talk about a lot. But I knew the value of a service dog. And then so our second year, we raised enough money. We provided a year's worth of equine therapy to a local first responder because I had gotten to partake in that, and I thought there was some benefit to it. Mind you, we were baby stepping. And then about a year and a half ago, as we were beginning to grow and funds continued to get donated, we decided we wanted to create our own retreats that we could control, that we knew where we were running ethically and morally and not taking Hawaiian vacations on donation money and stupid stuff like that. A lot of people don't know the IRS only requires a 501c3 to donate 10% of what they make, which is why
Right.
CEOs and marketing expenses are ridiculous. Well, I didn't want any part of that. So we're an all volunteer organization from myself and my co-founder. Our president is a retired submariner commander. He's an MBA in business, so he's the finance and money guy. Our vice president has a PhD in cybersecurity and you know retired from the Army and now uh, contracted by the DOW, as Ross put it, and is also a professor. So he keeps everything that we do online, very secure. He's our cyber specialist. Um, and we've got an active duty commander that just joined us. He's working on his doctorate in laws and policies. And the list goes on. Like all of our volunteers, our ambassadors, we're all veterans, we're all first responders, we're 100% volunteer basis so that every dollar we do earn through our fundraising funds these suicide prevention retreats that we've put together, which, even though we're home based out of Florida, we are a nationwide organization. We help vets and first responders nationwide. And we do our retreats in this beautiful place called Paradise Valley, Montana, where they can kind of go off grid, get away from their everyday triggers and stressors. And the whole thing was based on um, a local professor who is a combat marine, retired law enforcement, went back to school with TBI and PTSD himself. So he'd battled his demons, and he wanted to, be part of the solution. So he got his PhD. He runs a practice here in Bozeman, and he's a professor at MSU. And Dr. Jesse Holton, who is retired out of Florida but moved up here, is how I ended up coming up here and learning my way around. And then we've got Dr. David Day, who is retired from Naval Special Warfare Development Group, runs a practice out of Virginia Beach called NUCOA. When he was active duty, he worked with team guys like Ross, who had TBIs and symptoms of PTSD, and it's a medically based neurological treatment. So we have both the medical side, expert input, we've got the mental health expert input, and then we use research studies that were done overseas on Israeli Defense Forces, where they took camaraderie, putting them together in nature, and introduced them to a variety of modalities like we do. Well, it's where we got the idea, and pulled all this together. So our retreats are 7 days. They fly in on a Sunday. Every morning is a short curriculum about their symptoms and why they have them, and explain the science to them so that they don't think that they're just crazy. A lot of them don't understand their symptoms, so we explain it to them in a way that they feel more normal. We share our own stories so they know they're not alone. And then we go out and we do a different modality each day, from hiking to fly fishing, equine therapy. And the people of this community have come together and probably given us more resources than we actually have time to put them all into motion. But we have a lot. We even have veteran musicians that come in and teach songwriting and teach guitar lessons. So we incorporate music therapy every night around a campfire into it. And the story sharing happens very organically, and the testimonials we get tell us what they like about it is that it's not the sit down, hi, my name is Donna and I have PTSD kind of scenario, right? Where you're put
Right.
on the spot. The stories are shared very, very naturally and organically when they're ready. And I would venture to say everyone that has been to our retreats have gone home and told their significant others things that they've been hiding for decades. And with and the spouses and the families, they know it. They just don't know what they don't know, and they finally,
Right.
bond over it and come together, and that wall comes down because they let themselves be vulnerable to the ones that they should be with, right? And we've gotten letters from bosses, coworkers, spouses thanking us for giving them their loved one back, or their coworker back, or whatever. It's been really,
That's
really good.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's an amazing origin story. And I think, I know we spoke about this before, that what sets you guys apart from others is that it's 100% voluntary. Um, so everybody's there for the cause and not for, their own um, wallet or anything else like that. Um, you mentioned that you guys got started with service dogs. Do you still do that aspect too, or has it kind of just shifted over to retreats?
I That is definitely not our wheelhouse. If we
Right.
hadn't had so many volunteers step forward to help us, I don't know that we would have pulled it off. So no, that is not something we do. However, we do have nonprofit organizations like Canine Line, for example, and Pause for Courage that we have vetted and are good organizations. So when we do get someone looking for a service dog, we have people we can refer them to.
That's awesome. Sweet.
Yeah.
And Ross, how did you get involved in this, my friend?
Well, I knew Donna back in 88, 89, 90,
89, 89, 90. Yep.
89, 90, when she was serving in the Navy and taking care of us when we were on deployment with our travel claims. I got to know her then. And then she reached out to me when she was writing her book with some ideas. Uh, she got her book done. She started this nonprofit, and she said, "Hey, I'm going to have a gala. You want to come down and be the guest speaker?" And I was like, "Donna, for you, I'm in 100%. Let's do it." So that's the short version of it. But yeah,
Yeah, and obviously, PTSD is uh, it's a big topic, and it's a little taboo, or it has been taboo, in years past. Um, so, what do you think is the biggest draw for people to finally say, "Hey, I need some help. I need something and someone. I need a community again." What has been like the biggest feedback and just kind of overall of that, would you say?
the biggest feedback on getting people to admit they need help
Yeah,
is
like
is probably setting them on a retreat
yeah,
without knowing that they're going on a retreat to ask for help. Is, hey, it's a good deal retreat. You're going to go out to Montana. You're going to get in touch with nature. They don't know what is really going to happen, and they have a great time. and one of the greatest things about it is, is you're bonding with other military people that weren't in your community, but
Right.
you all raised your hand, you all swore the oath, you all accepted service, you all saw different things, did different things, were affected differently, but you all come together, whether you're Navy, Marine Corps, Army, Air Force,
That's
Space.
And the
awesome.
same goes for the first responders as well,
Yeah,
because we'll do a week for the veterans and then we do a separate week for the first responders. And he's absolutely right. They come from all over the country, different cities, big cities, small cities, and they find out at the end of the day similar experiences.
similar experiences. Doesn't matter what branch of service, what your MOS or job title was in the service, and you get to share your stories with people that you're not really afraid because they're not in your community. And what's said here stays here. Um, some communities are like Baptist women knitting circles, and boy, you tell one person and you've just told the whole community,
Yeah.
and they feel a little comfortable, sharing with people that, they don't know. But yeah, I felt the same way. Yeah, I understand, and you share within that community out. And then the great thing about, Donna going out to Montana, and the great thing, I can speak for myself, on men, is men need vistas. You
Mhm.
need wide expanse. Like if you're going to think about some, you need to go out and look at mountains. You need
Yeah.
to look at beautiful vistas, you know, and that just makes all the difference in the world to be doing it in a place like that where you can be fly fishing, horseback riding, sitting around a campfire, um, you know,
Yeah. I always find
sharing your stories.
I
Yeah,
always find it interesting. Like you can come from different backgrounds, and obviously everybody has a different experience. But it's almost like when you hit rock bottom or you have low points, and you share those with other people, and you hear their low points. You guys are speaking the same language, even though you really
exactly.
didn't see the same or do the same things at all. It's very
Yeah.
relatable.
Yep. So, law enforcement, I've been to one where they mix the law enforcement and the military together, and
Mhm.
you're looking across the circle, and you're going, wow, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to have been in your shoes. And they're thinking, wow, I wouldn't have wanted to have been in your shoes.
Yeah.
And it all works out. And you share, and you come away knowing, you know what, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that feels this way. And you leave with a sense of purpose where I'm okay. And if you need more help, maybe you'll search it out and find just that right veterans retreat or assistance that can help you get a little bit further down the road. And it's not like, you know veteran retreats aren't going to throw a touchdown pass and you're all done, but what Donna brings them together, and if they can realize that they're not alone, and others are suffering, that it's okay to reach out for help. And maybe I'll reach out this way and go to this event, and somebody else will say, hey, maybe I'm going to try this modality and I'm going to go this route. But now you know that you realize you're not alone, and you're reaching out for help, and you're moving the ball down the field. You might not get that touchdown pass, but as long as you're moving the ball forward on the field, you're doing okay.
I think that's an
Yeah.
important point you make. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Donna.
No, I was just going to say that was what Ross was saying is before we even start the retreat, we research. Our team researches each attendee before they even get there, and we learn their geographical location, and we find out where their local equine therapist is, or fly fishing club is, and all the different modalities that we're going to introduce them to. We find what's available in their home area, so that whatever they connect to on the retreat, when they leave, we give them all of the resources available in their area, so they don't they have a starting point, so they can continue what they learned there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you guys, like I said, Ross, you made an excellent point with it's not a touchdown pass. There is no one cure all. There is no
That's
magic
right.
pill. There's no magic pill, even if you go to the doctor and you're actually taking a pill. Um, everybody's a little bit different in that sense, and sometimes it takes more than one thing to help find that peace again. So that's really one thing I really like about what you guys do there is that, hey, we're going to do different types of events. It's almost like man camp is what I think of. We're going to do different types of events. We're going to see what you like, what you don't like. And you might be surprised, like horseback riding might not be in your forte, but once you do it, and especially there, you're doing on the mountains and walking through water and everything else, you're doing and experiencing things you've never done before.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's amazing. Um,
Yeah, I know
I'm
guys
actually,
that have lost both legs, and they go out horseback riding, and this place has a special way of getting them up on the horse and picking the right horse, of course,
mhm,
and they just love it, and they look forward to it every year that they go out there or go to another venue that will, take care of that. Or there's the one where you get in a biplane, an old World War II training biplane. And they have a way to get people that are handicapped up into those planes and take them for a 15, 20-minute flight. And, it just puts a smile on their face and it makes them feel normal and themselves for 15 minutes, and when it's over, the tough parts, then the tough days aren't as hard, you know.
right.
So,
Yeah,
well, and
that's
that's
good. Yeah.
yeah, what we do because we look at everybody's level of physical fitness. We
Yeah.
had one attendee who had been shot in the line of duty, had partially paralyzed in one leg, and was very s- nervous about being able to keep up, right? Especially like on the
Hmm.
hikes and some of the things that we did, the horseback riding, and w- it's not a competition. We let them know like this isn't a race. It's not a competition. This is about just being in the moment, enjoying it. So we make sure that no man or woman is left behind, and everybody does everything together, regardless of what the pace is, because that's what it's about, right?
you're only
Um,
as
and
slow, you're only as fast as your slowest man, or
That's always the case,
that's
yeah.
especially
it.
as a SEAL guy, you know?
Yeah. I didn't want to say it that way, but he hit the nail on the head. That's exactly right. And speaking of toughness, Ross and I were talking, before we went on air about, PTSD and the demons that come with it. It doesn't matter who you are, how tough you are, what you've been through, what you've proven in your life. It doesn't care, and
Mhm.
one of the things we teach them is often it could very well be an undiagnosed TBI that triggered the whole thing to spiral out of control. And like for me, that's what they learned about me. I didn't know I had a TBI. I was in a crash the year before my PTSD hit me, and after a nonprofit put me through the ringer and did some testing on me, figured out why all of a sudden, I went from being so resilient and so strong, which I'd already been always been credited with, to not being able to get myself off the floor. Like I thought I was going crazy and losing my mind. And you end up. We had a 9/11 firefighter that attended our recent retreat, and that was something he learned is that he's going through the treatment right now. He's likely been living with a TBI for many years. He did not even know he had. So the
Mm.
combat veterans like Ross, big tough Navy SEALs were the ones, telling me I needed to go talk to somebody and get some therapy. And I thought, no, that's for that's for wusses. That's for
Right.
crazy people, and the whole stigma thing, right? But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, God, if these guys can, you know, vouch for it, then maybe I'm wrong.
Well, let's
And
let's
they
let's
helped me
clear
get the
something
courage
up
I needed
too.
to go get the help. Yes.
Let's clear something up. It's not going into a psychologist's office and laying on the couch and,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
tell me your story. The therapy we're talking about isn't like that at all. Where he's got his notebook and
No.
writing notes and okay, you're doing good. We'll see you next week. And you're going in every Friday. No, it's a man up military law enforcement, around the fire pit, where people can raise the bullshit flag on you. you know,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and they're encouraged to, like, well, that's bullshit, no, this is how it affected me. Okay, I got it, and but
Yep.
it's the
Thank you.
camaraderie, of service members. You know, I heard it said just today on another event or something where somebody said, we're all people of service because we volunteered,
Yep.
and when you transition out of the military, you're kind of lost. You're like you're in the corporate world, you're in the real world where people are, I sometimes people are, gunning for your job and your position and blah, blah, blah. Where, when you're in the military, you knew what your position was. You knew when you'd be ready for the next position, and it wasn't like, yeah, I don't got to put that guy down to get his job. My time will come and it'll work out. And you always had each other's back and you're willing to go into combat with people and you trusted them and loved them and you worked hard and partied hard, and you built this camaraderie that, just kind of when you get out of the military, sometimes, wow, where'd it go? And staying connected to either, like, it doesn't matter if you were in the 101st Airborne or with the SEAL teams or MARSOC, staying connected with your small group of guys, but even expanding that more and staying active with, in the American Legion or the VFW or someplace local because we all served. And
Right.
you need to get back to that group of people that raised their hands and said, I'm gonna write that check, make payable to the federal government of up to and including my life. And there's only what 1% of the nation serves. So, that's a pretty unique group that signs that check and hands it over to the federal government and says,
Absolutely.
hey, if my number comes up, yeah, I'm serving.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people can relate. Getting out of military, getting out of first responder jobs, things of that
Yeah,
nature. You kind of lose that sense of community, and it's not even because, um, they don't like you or anything like that. It's
no,
it's you're not around each other anymore.
that's right.
Especially in the military now, they're going back to their originating places, which might not have been the town next to yours, likely
Right.
isn't.
Yeah, and
Um,
they're 1,000 miles away from you. You can. It's technology is marvelous. You can stay in contact over text, but it's great to get together face to face.
yeah, for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and especially
And
around the caveman TV. Stare
Right.
into the caveman TV and tell your stories and listen to other people's stories, and it's fantastic. It's very therapeutic,
Love it.
yeah,
especially if you're
I'm
doing it
glad.
in
I'm glad.
the mountains of Montana, to
Yeah,
look
no
at at
kidding, right?
night and the stars. Can you imagine getting people, the city boy, that New York firefighter that probably never saw stars before in his life out in
Never saw
Montana?
one star, let alone the whole Milky Way, you
He
know?
looks up and he's like, "Hey, where'd all these things come from?"
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
we've talked a lot about this the retreat, Donna, and I'm sure a lot of people are asking, it sounds expensive. How am I going to afford that? How am I going to go to
yeah.
Montana and go on all these cool trips and stuff? So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, it is very expensive. You are correct. So the way it works is we do ask all of the attendees once they're selected to purchase their own airfare, right? We have an account with Southwest. They take pretty good care of us. They're great to veterans. And no, I don't get paid to say that. It's just the fact. And and they're one of the few airlines that fly into Bozeman, which that's important for us because it's the closest major airport. So they pay their airfare to get here, and then upon completing the week successfully, they, code of conduct, whatever, we reimburse them up to $500, which thus far has covered everybody's travel expenses to include their extra luggage charges now, right? So they
Right.
pay their way to get here, we reimburse them, everything else is included. On average, it runs about each attendee costs about 1750 $1,750. So a week will cost us about, when you count all the food and everything put together, it's about $25,000 per week. and that's expensive. And we did 2 in October. Our goal is 3 for this May because we're doing one just this will be the first one we've done, but we're going to do one for just female veterans who are military sexual trauma survivors. They need their own retreat where they can be in a safe place with other women who've been through what they've been through. So
Yeah.
eventually, our long-term goals are to do one for families who have either lost someone due to the invisible wounds or have just struggling to understand their loved one. But we do plan to do family retreats at some point. So the way we do it is go ahead.
Are you meaning Gold Star families, Donna?
If they lost their loved one to suicide, yes. I'm not
Not in
sure if
combat.
not in combat. No, we
Okay.
focus solely on PTSD. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. We
Yeah,
focus
just for
solely on
clarification.
that.
Yep.
Just to clarify, you're talking about like the expenses, and I know the organization pays those, but room, board, meals, all that stuff is included and not a cost to the attendees, correct?
Absolutely, 100% of everything is included, uh, including their airfare upon their completion. We To give you an idea what the property is, it's a 36-acre piece of property that sits in the heart of Paradise Valley, right on the Yellowstone River. You walk out the back door, and you're looking straight down at the river. Its
That's awesome.
estimated value, just to give you an idea, is about an $8 million piece of property and house. It'll sleep 16 people, so we have room for 12 heroes attendees and then 4 staff to run the retreat, of course. And then we have our
12?
resources in the area, like our equine therapists, fly fishing, and whatnot. Yes.
12? You have
You were
room for
going to say something,
12?
Ross?
You have room for 12?
Yeah, 10 to 12. It depends on how the mixture with gender works, but it's 10 to 12. Yes.
Okay.
There's twins in every room, and
Okay.
every bedroom has its own bathroom. It's all under one roof. So you've got one wing to the left, one wing to the right, the common area in the middle, which is the kitchen, dining, classroom, living room, everything in the middle. It's quite honestly, it was pure luck that we found it. The family that owns it lives in Texas, and normally it rents for an enormous amount of money on Airbnb or VRBO, but they give us a very generous discount to use the home. However, we only have access to it in May and October, which is the off seasons, because the family and it gets used quite a bit by family and friends the rest of the year.
Gotcha. And do you only do 2 a year, or do you try to do a couple more during those months, or how many retreats are you doing a year?
So we did 2 in October, and we're doing 3 in May.
Oh,
And
wow.
if all goes well, we're going to shoot for 3 in October. But it's what we can financially afford, of course, right?
Sure,
So
of
depending
course,
on how
yeah.
much money we raise, depends on how many we can do. We know we have May and October to use. It, in theory, we could do 4 and 4. In theory,
Right.
if we could afford it. Um, so as we talked about, it's all about fundraising. So we're having the big gala in later next month, and we have a goal to raise enough money that it'll fund all of 2026's retreats.
That's awesome. And for those that will be listening to this or seeing this, how would one apply to be a hero on this retreat?
So right now well, first of all, let me start with this. The best way to keep up to what we're doing is to visit our website, which is hu2h.org. Look for the subscribe button and subscribe to our monthly newsletter. Because unlike social media and all the other stuff where stuff slips through the cracks, the first of every month you're going to get that email, and it's going to tell you everything you need to know about what we've done, what we're doing, and what we're going to do, right? So February's newsletter that's about to come out will announce that applications are opening on February 1st. So they'll be open for 30 days. And at the end of that 30 days, when we close the applications, the team will sit down and we'll start vetting everyone. If they're a veteran, we require a DD 214. If they're a first responder, we're going to require some sort of proof, ID, pay stub, something to prove that they are the real deal. We will not tolerate stolen valor. We vet, um, none of us have any tolerance for that. So we vet pretty strongly to make sure they are exactly who they say they are.
Gotcha.
and
And
why they want to come.
yeah, for sure. That's important. I mean, they got to have a reason. Obviously they're there to heal and reach a new community. And that's it includes not just active first responders, but also former as well.
Yes, oh, absolutely. It includes active duty, veterans, retirees, of course, and then active first responders and past first responders. And a first responder is defined as a police officer, firefighter, EMS, or paramedic, someone who's first on the scene when all hell is breaking loose.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I
That's
think it needs to be put out too. You pay your $500 or whatever your airfare is, and Donna says they reimburse you at the end of it. But that gives buy-in that you're going to attend, because I know some events, they would buy your ticket and send it to you and tell you this is your flight number and all this, and then the people wouldn't show up. They just
or
change their
cancel
mind
last minute.
because
Yeah.
they don't have any teeth in the game. They
Right.
don't have any skin in the game. So they'll just cancel last minute and say, "Oh, a family issue or this or that." And you know, yeah, family issues can happen and life happens, but it gives them a little skin in the game that, okay, I'm going to go to this thing, and I don't know what to expect, because it's, all people are different, and sometimes they're a little nervous showing up with a bunch of other, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
people that are going to be there.
yeah, I mean,
And then once you get them together for the first hour, there's nothing but butt sniffing going on.
oh yeah.
Everybody's checking everybody else out.
Oh
Who's
yeah.
who in the zoo? It's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's for sure. That is for sure.
I went to one, and they flew us into Denver Airport and had us rent a vehicle. So one guy put down the card, trusting that everybody else was going to pay him back, which we did. But we threw our luggage in the back of that big Suburban, and all six of us rode in that Suburban for about 3 hours up to where the venue was. And that vehicle ride was so hilarious because everybody was feeling each other out, seeing who's who in the zoo. It was a good ride.
That is so incredibly accurate. So we rent a couple Suburbans and we try our best to get our flights coming in somewhat in the same hours. Coming into Bozeman, everything connects to either Vegas or Denver. So it kind of works. It's not too hard to coordinate. And then we do it usually averages about 3 shuttle runs that day. It's about an hour away from where the retreat is. But you're right, those car rides, it's right away. They're vetting each other, even though we already have. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
the
they
bonding
are.
starts early then.
Yes, it does.
That's awesome. And you guys had mentioned a gala that's coming up here in Florida. Let's touch on that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So February 28th, at the Radisson Resort at the port, which is right next to Port Canaveral. All the cruise ships go out, and it's right next to Kennedy Space Center, very close to the Space Center where the launches go up. Uh, we have a enormous gala planned. Ross is going to be one of our keynote speakers, speaking on behalf of the veteran community and why this is an important cause. And then we have another keynote speaker, former Sheriff Mark Lamb out of Arizona, who's going to speak, for the first responder community. And then we have been generously showered with incredible auction items from, for example, Henry Firearms donated a couple firearms, and we've got 9 firearms in total that we're going to auction off, all very impressive. One of them, even, I'm
Holy
probably going to
smokes.
let Ross do some of the talking on, but it's a special warfare rifle, a 9 mil on an AR platform with a uh, collapsible stock. And it's got the Seal Trident etched on it, which makes it super cool, of course. Then we've got an
That
African
makes it
safari.
official.
Yeah,
Makes it
yeah, that
official.
makes it
Yeah,
official.
yeah. So we've got an African safari hunt, 7 days lodging with meals included. That's been donated. That all the person's got to do is pay for the airfare and then go hunting in Africa. To Norwegian Cruise
Man.
Lines, you've been giving us a 7-day cruise with a balcony for two. Like, And the list, I could sit here all day. The list goes on and on. I do want to give a shout out before I forget. I'm learning how to do this. Huge shout out to Klinger Holsters. They are a small company in Arkansas. All of their holsters are made here in the U.S. Very, very supportive of veterans and first responders, and they are a title sponsor, and they have been amazing to work with. We also have a local law firm, Simpson Legal Group, in Cocoa, who's been doing really good. We have Jessica Lynch is an honored guest at the gala. So Ross and Sheriff Lamb are going to be doing the talking. Jessica is going to be there on behalf of the female veteran community because we're like, hey, don't forget about us.
Yeah.
And Jessica, if you don't know anything about her, she is one of the kindest, sweetest, most humble people I've ever encountered, and just an immense amount of respect for her. So honored
She's
to
got an
have her
incredible
coming.
story.
She truly does. She truly does. And she is, like I said, even though a lot of people would capitalize on a story like hers, she is down to earth and humble and sweet as she could possibly be. And I'm honored to call her my friend now.
That's amazing.
Let's see. Yeah. So, oh, and then we've got Adam Martin of Blackbird Anthem and Shannon Book and Jeremy Chestnut flying in. They're going to do a benefit concert the night before the gala, which is going to be amazing. They've all been up for a Josie Awards in Nashville and won. Um, all served in the military and understand what Ross and I are talking about. And they found therapy through music, songwriting, and playing guitar. And I'm not going to tell their story, but they've got pretty powerful stories themselves. So yeah,
And then
it's
a shout out to your auctioneer also.
oh yeah, Sheriff Wayne Ivy, if Brevard County Sheriff is going to be our auctioneer, you never know what that man is going to say or come up with. The last auction I went to, he auctioned off a day as a criminal, from the arrest to the booking to the mugshot to the fingerprints to
I'll
spending a
take
day
that.
in the actual
Yeah, can I
jail
skip
eating
that
jail
one?
food.
I'll take
I
that collapsible stock
I
with the
I
symbol of
I
on
I, I
it.
I know. But there's been other auctions where he's like given a day like with SWAT. Now, I mean, somebody like Ross or myself, who I've been a cop, we've all been there, done that, seen the tactical hits. To your average civilian, that's
It's really
pretty
cool.
cool
Yeah.
getting to see from from the inside. It's a cool experience. So they take them out on the range. They do gun shooting. They prep them. They do the planning of what the hit's going to be, and they ride along with the sheriff while SWAT. They observe SWAT go in and do their thing. So it's a pretty
Yeah.
cool experience. Like I said, you never know what he's going to come up with. It's always entertaining. And I believe the Brevard County Fire Rescue is also going to come up with some sort of a really cool donation experience. At the last auction I went to for a different charity, um, I bucket list for me. I'd never been on an airboat ride. Um, well, I did one where I putted around a retention pond looking for a body, but I don't really count that one. I wanted the engine to actually be running and going down the river. So
Right.
I finally got it, and I got to go do that, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and then we went back to the firehouse, and they had lunch all prepared for us, and it was a pretty cool experience. So I think BFR is going to do that.
There's one auction item that you didn't mention that would look real nice over here on my wall, actually.
I think I know which one you're
How did
talking
I
about.
forget? How did I forget? Oh my gosh. Oh, Aaron, I'm so sorry. I had the true honor and privilege of meeting Aaron Lewis at the Big Blue Bash at Mar-a-Lago a couple months ago, and I'm a huge, huge fan. It was very hard not to completely geek out, but I managed to keep it together. And I asked him, would he be nice enough to donate a signed guitar for our gala? And I'm happy to report that, in fact, he did. And we have a legitimate signed guitar with a certificate of authentication that came directly from Aaron Lewis. So we are pretty
That's
excited about
awesome.
auctioning that off as well. Yes,
Yeah. My
he's a
audience will
huge
definitely know who
supporter.
that is. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. No, Aaron's awesome. He's a good man. I like him a lot.
And how does one become eligible for any of these auctioned items?
Attend the gala.
All right. And how would you attend the
Bingo.
gala? What does that cost you?
So a general admission is $125. A VIP admission is $250. VIP basically means you get to come an hour early and hobnob with all the VIPs and sponsors that are going to be there. It is open bar. And if someone chooses, we have two sponsor packages left, one for the bar and one for the floral. If somebody just chooses to become a sponsor, they would get on open bar throughout the evening, but that is only for sponsors. But VIPs get open bar during the hour leading up to it. And then once they get into the gala, they get premier seating, they get seating up front. Um, and yeah, they little red carpet treatment. They get treated a little extra special if they're VIPs.
That's cool. And obviously, the gala is a fundraiser for the organization. And the organization, like you said, is limited to veterans and first responders or former first responders. But the gala is actually open to the general public, right?
100%. Yeah. Anyone can come.
Awesome. And how
Yep.
do they get their tickets? How would somebody get their tickets?
So the easiest way to go about it is to just go to our website, and on the home page, they'll see a big flyer advertising the gala. They click on that flyer. It'll hyperlink them over to a platform called Zeffy, which is a great platform for nonprofits because they don't charge us credit card fees when someone uses a credit card. They're just a great platform. That's all I can tell you. And they book their tickets right there, and they will get an
That's
e-ticket,
awesome.
and they'll choose their meal, which will be prime rib chicken marsala or vegetable lasagna. And we do ask that there will be no tickets sold at the door. In fact, the cutoff date is going to be 4 days prior to the event, which would be February 24th, will be the last day
Mhm.
tickets will be sold, because we have to let the Radisson know our head count and our meals and stuff. So I would strongly recommend they do it sooner than later. And if
Well,
they don't,
you could
go
take a
ahead.
purchase at the door. It's just they're not going to get fed.
Yeah. Do you
They
get a
can get
discount then?
Good
in,
Or
point.
but
Yeah, valid point.
yeah, you're not going to get fed.
Um, so the thing is if, let's say, they want to buy several seats, or we have people like with businesses want to buy a whole table, but they don't have all their names yet. That's fine. They could just put TBD in the name,
Mhm.
and when they're ready, they can email us later and we can manually enter it after the fact, but the tickets are at least purchased.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, it's February, the end of February in Florida. Buy your tickets, come out, have a good time. There's going to be fun, some cool people to talk to. Yeah, yeah.
The weather is going to be,
Great
as
date
always,
night for
beautiful.
people in Florida. Come on out,
Yeah.
support your veterans and first responders. Yeah, it'll be a good night. We'll make it
That's
fun.
It will,
awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely
and
going to see you guys there. That's for sure.
well, I hope so. And for the bike enthusiasts, it is the kickoff weekend to Bike Week in Daytona, which is about an hour north. So we've got some people coming from out of state that are going to start with the gala and then just transition right into Bike Week. We got the people that just come by the end of February. They're sick of the snow and they want to come to Florida because the weather's beautiful. We're going to be right near the beach. Cocoa Beach is right there. Yeah, and it's a great cause. It's a beautiful resort, and we do have rooms blocked. There's not many left. So if I was gonna say, if you're traveling from out of town, you better book.
Awesome. And again, for everybody listening, the website to go to is hu2h.org. HU2 as in the number 2, h.org. That's where you can get your tickets. That's where you can sign up for the subscribe to the newsletter, read about their mission and their retreats as well.
It's a good cause.
It's the best cause,
Yeah.
especially you got volunteers, and like I said, everybody's in it for the right reasons, and that's what sets it apart, and that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm amazed how many of our past attendees have reached out and now wanted to become ambassadors and get involved, because a lot of them are getting near retirement and they're afraid to hang up that uniform. They identify
Yeah,
with the uniform and they don't know what comes next. And this is giving them the opening to their next chapter of their life. They realize that life isn't going to end when the uniform gets hung up.
it gives you more purpose. It gives you that sense of service still that that we all signed up for to begin with.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, that's great. Donna, I'm so proud of you for doing all this. I'm sure you look back 10 years and you would have never thought that this would be what you were doing, and you're doing it at a high level. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I remember when you and I first met, it was when the book first came out. And if you'd have
Yeah,
asked me then what we'd be doing in 5 years, I would have never imagined this. But I can tell you, I finally found my purpose, and I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I love
yeah,
every minute of it.
yeah. I'm definitely grateful for you. Have been obviously since the day I met you. You've just blown up and done incredible things, and that's so amazing, so amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Was that Donna?
I said, I learned everything I know from the best men like you.
Ah,
Awesome.
it was always inside you, Donna. It was always inside you.
Hey, you just had to find purpose a little later, but what a Colonel Sanders
Well,
not found
purposes can
KFC till
change.
he's like in his 60s. So
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
exactly.
Well, yeah, but purposes can change. My purpose
it
young
is
was to join the
absolutely.
military, and I try to tell, like, my daughter's in college. They change majors. I'm like, babe, you know,
It's
goals
okay.
and
It's just a
achievements
season.
and
Yeah.
change. Yeah, it's just another chapter. Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I think we covered most of the things with HU2H. Is there anything that I didn't hit on that or that you want to touch on?
Ross, why is this important to you? What made you agree to or doing our agree to my request?
Wow, you put me on the spot now, aren't you?
No pressure.
Hey, one, veteran first responder suicide is way too high. Even if it's one, it's too high. But you have a good cause. You're a great person. You're a good friend. Um, yeah, I'm here to help you out. And if we can,
Yeah.
if we can keep, some people from pulling the trigger, taking the pills, however, their plans are, um, I think that's a great cause. And do it with and have some fun during the evening and raise some money and get people out to the great state of the big sky state of Montana to find out they're not the only ones. Is a great reason to do it. And yeah, so yeah, I'll come down and
That's
help you
awesome.
Thank you. You're my
That's
hero.
awesome. Like
out. Yeah.
he's your hero to United.
Ha! Ross, listen, let me tell you something about Ross because he won't say it. For a man as accomplished and decorated as he is one of the most humble human beings you could ever want to meet. And that is one of the things I respect truly about him most.
Thank you. Just a
Authenticity goes
just
a
a
long way.
just a dude doing a job.
That's right. We're not
Yep.
special. We're just
Nope,
doing special things. That's all.
that's right.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's how you know they're the good ones.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing you, Ross, down there. And
I look forward to meeting you.
yeah, likewise. And Donna, I'm definitely going to see you there. Thank you both for taking the time to speak about this today, because obviously, like we said, this is a really important topic. And I think the more that we talk about it, the less stigma there is about it. And it kind of gives other people the courage to talk about their experiences too.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Yep.
having us.
Absolutely. If there's anything I can
Thank
do for
you.
you guys in the
Thank you.
future, obviously I'll be, promoting this and things of that nature. But I'm here for the cause as well.
I think we lost Donna.
Oh, that's okay. All right.
No,
Well,
I'm here. I'm here. I think I'm having some internet issues because you guys are freezing up a bit.
that's okay. We're just laughing at you.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys have a great night. And again, we'll talk
I'm
soon.
used
All
to
right.
it. All right. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Heroed Out podcast. For the latest news and episodes, visit us at heroedout.com or on social media. Stay safe out there, heroes.